I was recruiting for a dishwasher, and Greg walked in to interview for the job. Greg was wearing a hoodie and had this body language where he almost seemed like he wanted to fold into himself. He wasn't standing straight or tall. He was sort of hiding. He was a young man, but when I talked to him and looked at his application, it turned out that Greg had recently gotten out of jail where he had spent 6 months for cocaine offenses. So he didn't feel like he was really worth any more than a $5 an hour dishwasher job. You're thinking $5 an hour. Well, this was 1988. When I looked at his application, I saw that he had been honorably discharged from the Army. While he was in the Army, he was doing inventory control. So I asked him about that. And he explained it to me that in inventory control, he would have to go into warehouses and physically count the things that he saw on the shelves and then input the data into a computer system. Well, what job do you think we have at the hotel that's a little bit similar to that on a much smaller scale? You know those little bitty refrigerators in your guest room with that $40 bottle of wine and that $80 candy bar that's 2 bites? The Servi bars. It's the same kind of idea. You go into the Servi bars, you open them up and you count what's missing, and then you put that into the computer and then replace those missing items so that the next guest always has a full Servi bar. Well, I thought, well, this is interesting. This is really similar on a much easier scale than what he did with the Army. So I said, Greg, could you wait here for just a minute? He's like, sure. And I know he's wondering what I was going to do. I said, I'll be right back. And I went and got the banquet manager because the banquet manager was also in charge of the Servi bars. And I said, you know, I have a guy out there who's interviewing for dishwasher, but we can get dishwashers any day of the week. This guy, I think, would really do well in the Servi bar position that we also have available. Would you come talk to him? Banquet manager came, sat down with Greg, who initially was like, who's this person? Because I didn't expect this. And they had a great conversation. Greg walked out of there, instead of with a $5 dishwasher job, a $6 an hour Servi bar job. Not a bad day. He excelled. And within 5 months, they said, would you be interested at all in working in banquets? He was like, yes. He would always jump at an opportunity to learn and to grow and to do something new because we would offer training in different areas. Greg did so well at being a banquet server that within about another 5 months, he was promoted to banquet supervisor, which I think paid $13 an hour. Within less than a year, or right around a year's time, a young man who'd walked in thinking he was going to be a $5 an hour dishwasher was a $13 an hour banquet supervisor. And there was just this different man there. His shoulders went back, he stood straighter and taller, and he had pride in himself. One day, Greg came into my office and he said, I want to talk to you about the tuition reimbursement program that we have for college. He was referring to a program that we had where if an employee wanted to get a college degree, if they got straight A's, we would reimburse them at 80%. If they got B's, at 60%, and C's, they were reimbursed at 40%. A great program. He wanted to know if he could get into that. I said, absolutely, let's get out the paperwork. What is it you want to study? He said, I'm going to go into human resources. What a compliment for me that was. I felt wonderful about it. That is the kind of thing that you can do to your employees.